This is a video that's going to go through the review for the Unit 1 exam. So I'm going to work through each of the problems. You may check these in class, but if you want to work on them and check them before, then that's fine. Okay, so 7 to r plus 2, 7 to r minus 5. Anytime you have exponents as a fraction, you're going to subtract. So it's r plus 2 minus the quantity r minus 5. Make sure you're understanding it's subtracting a quantity. So r minus r is 0. 2 minus negative 5 is 7. So 7 to the 7th. You could multiply that out if you want a really big number. The second one, to reduce it, you need to write both of them as powers of 2. 2 to the 5x, 2 to the third, raised to the x minus 1. So that's 2 to the 5x over 2 to the 3x minus 3. And then you subtract your powers. 5x minus 3x is 2x, minus negative 3 is plus 3. Next one, right, is powers of 5. This is already a power of 5. 5 squared. Multiply exponents, you add. 5 to the 5 minus x. Anytime you have all these negative exponents, I like to rewrite it. Get rid of the power first. So that would be a to the 6th, b to the negative 8, 3a to the negative 2, 5, ab to the negative 3. And then I take an extra step and rewrite everything positive. So if it's positive, it stays where it's at. If it's negative, it moves to the other place in the fraction. So this is a squared. Comes down here. 5 stays up. A stays up. B moves down. That takes care of the numerator. A to the 6th already here. B to the 8th moves up. And then you can combine. So I have 15. This is a to the 8th and a. So comes a to the 7th. B to the 8th and B to the 3rd is B to the 5th. This whole thing is to the 0. That's just 1. Now I'm going to distribute my negative 2. So I have 5 to the negative 2. A to the 14th, B to the negative 2. C to the 0 is going to be nothing, so I'm not going to write it. You need a fraction. Negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Comes down to the denominator. A to the 14th, B squared. Make sure that you don't enter, if you're going to do this in your calculator, you don't enter it without parentheses or it will mess up. You mess up, your calculator doesn't mess up. Both of these can be written as powers of 3, so 3 squared to the 2x plus 3 over 3 cubed to the x minus 5. So 3 to the 4x plus 6 over 3 to the 3x minus 15. And then we're going to subtract because we're dividing. So 4x minus 3x is x. 6 minus negative 15 is positive 21. There's a couple ways you could go about this problem. You could distribute the negative 2 to everything. I'm just going to make that be a positive. So I'm going to rewrite my fraction exactly like it's supposed to. Flip it. 27ab to the 0 over 18a to the negative 3rd b. So all I did was flip my fraction and make this positive. Now I can distribute the 2. So I have 27 squared, a to the 2nd, b to the 0, over 18 squared, a to the negative 6 b squared. Last step would be 27 squared over 18 squared. And then this 6 is going to move up and become a to the 8th. The b stays the same because it's positive. And you can multiply the 27 squared on the calculator and 18. Write in scientific notation. Okay, so between 1 and 10 can be equal to 1, but can't be equal to 10. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9.3 times 10 to the negative 5th. Because I made this bigger, so I have to move it over. And this one's right as an ordinary number. Write it out. I'm multiplying by 10 to the 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my decimal point. 1, 2, 3. So 904,000. Now for this one, you can use your calculator and use the exponential button, or just multiply the numbers together and the powers together. So I'm going to do my calculator. 8.2 times 10 to the 4th, parentheses, 3.7 times 10 to the negative 7th. 0.03034, which would be 123.034 times 10 to the negative 2, because I was less than 1, so it has to be a negative exponent. The other way to do this one is to take 8.2 times 3.7, you get 30.34. And this is 10 to the negative 3rd. So when you move it back over, you get to that same number. So if I'm going to move it to 3.034, again, if you have your calculator, make your life easier. I'm going to do this one, the non-calculator methods. I think you can enter stuff in. So I have 15.68, 2.8. And these two combine to 10 squared. So that's times 100. So it's really the same as 1,568 divided by 2.8. And then I'm going to go back to my calculator. 560, which is 5.60 times 10 to the second, because it's bigger than 1. Simplify without the use of a calculator. 2 ways to do it. One is to know that this is the root and this is the power. So the square root of 25 is 5. So I'm changing that. Raised to the 3rd is 125. The other way would be to write this as 5 squared raised to the 3 halves. When you multiply a power to power, you get 5 to the 3rd, which is also 125. Write as a rational exponent. Okay, so the power is right here and the root is right here. This would be 1 over 7 to the 1/3. So that's the negative 1/3. And it says use a calculator to evaluate 3 sig figs. So 4 raised to the 2/5. 3 sig figs would be 1, 2, 3. I look to the right. I don't change anything, so 1.74. 27 to the negative 5/3. And some of you have a button that will change it to a fraction. It's fine. These are not sig figs. 1, 2, 3. I look at the 1 to the right. 0.00412, because that 5 rounds that up. So that's your review. You can look back through. You can look at your Khan Academy problems that were assigned for more review as well.